The South Shores Morning News.
Thanks, Dave. Another Monday on WHD, and that means time for another edition of Life Recipes for Success. We do it every Monday at this time on WHD. Danny Lynn, good morning.
Good morning, Rob. How are you?
I'm doing well. Another week and another
Success ingredients. And this week, we're going to talk about the importance of setting priorities.
Okay.
And I have to tell you, it was inspired because I was actually a guest on Terry Sika's show last night, Discovering Authenticity, and we were talking about the importance of staying committed and commitments.
Yes.
So it kind of raised the point that when you overcommit yourself, sometimes you have to reorganize your priorities. So basically, I felt compelled to talk about priority setting today. So when it comes to priorities, Rob, what comes to mind for you?
I suppose the first things I think of are family and work. I suppose those are the things we always hear about when it comes to priorities. I suppose, of course, it depends on where you are at this stage in your life. For
Right.
some people, if you're going to college, you would say schoolwork might be your priority.
Right.
Or, getting your career going. But yeah, I suppose family and career would be the big ones.
Yeah, definitely. I think you're right. Depends on where you are in your life, and as life goes on, your priorities do change. But as far as the definition of priority is about establishing a certain status for people or tasks that are important in your life. So basically, the reason why setting priorities is so important is because time is our only commodity we can't buy more of. And so it's very important that we manage our time appropriately. And since you can't be everything to everyone, you have to constantly take a minute and reflect and see what's important in your life.
All right. So how do you go about starting to do that?
Well, the first step you want to make is there's two types of priorities. There's
Okay.
priority setting. There's life priority setting and daily priority setting.
Oh, okay.
And so when you're talking about life priority setting, that's about what's important to your life from a long-term perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So what you have to do is you have to, every now and then, probably once a year or so, stop and reflect and figure out where your long-term goals and objectives are.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it comes to things that are presented, that may be a new thing you have to take on, maybe serving a board on a school committee or some kind of long-term commitment, be sure to check in with yourself to make sure that this task or commitment fills into the greater picture of your long-term objectives.
All right. Well, that's a good point because you're right. We all have these other commitments, and sometimes we do want to take on other commitments, serving on boards, either volunteer or paid committees or boards. And I suppose you're right. Sometimes when we have New Year's resolutions, we're kind of looking, saying this is what I want to do in the new year.
Right, but if you do that before you take on any new long-term commitment, you have to ask yourself, how does it fit into the bigger picture, and why am I doing it?
Okay.
Because it takes away from the other things that are already existing in your life.
Okay.
Now, when it comes to setting your daily priorities, let's face it, your to-do list will never end, right?
No,
It's always going to have something on there.
it does.
So you got to be careful with what you put on that list on a daily basis. Sometimes if you put too much stuff on there, you won't even get started, because that happens to me when I put too much stuff on my to-do list. I'm like, where do I begin,
I know, and it's like that at your office. There's always more in the in bin than the out bin. It's tough. Yeah, you never can get everything done in the day. So I don't know. Where do you start then?
Well, then you basically want to write everything down that you want to accomplish, and then you have to categorize what's important for that day. And one suggestion is doing A, B, and C. And the things that are A have to get done. And the things that are C would be nice to get done. And the B is the things that you could do that you would like to do. And then C is the things that, really have to be done, but it could wait till tomorrow. So the key is to make sure that you get the things done that you have to get done that day, obviously.
Yeah, those things you shouldn't put in the C section. No. Oh, yeah.
So you got to prioritize it.
Okay.
And that way you have more time in your life and you feel better. And the key, too, is to make sure you celebrate your wins when you do accomplish things, because, again, your to-do list will always be very long, and so you have to celebrate the things that you actually do accomplish in that day.
All right. Well, that sounds good. Reward yourself occasionally. All right,
Yeah.
that sounds good. So we've got the life priorities and daily priorities, and we got things to think about, and priorities is the topic today. And, of course, Danny Lynn, you got places where people can find out more.
That's right. You can tune into my blog, which is liferecipesforsuccess.com. And I'm Danny Lynn, your resident life coach on WATD, sprinkling your life with a little success.
We do it every Monday morning at this time on WATD.
Around it is a silver pool.